Alles klar. All right, welcome to episode number 19, all about A/B testing on the GrowthArtic podcast.
A/B testing.
A/B testing. Last time somebody told me that we visualize too much and that we always need to make sure that the audio only people that they also get all the information. I think it's an advantage to watch it on YouTube because you actually have eyes to support our mimics and gestures, but we always try to do that. But let's try it especially today.
Yeah.
So we took up the topic of A/B testing. Yeah. It's one I wanted specifically because it's the main topic of the Pirate Skills month of October. Yeah, we have a meetup about it, we have a workshop about it, and I thought it would be great to talk with somebody like you who has a very different opinion than me on GrowthArtic, I think at least, on a different opinion on A/B testing. And so let's kickstart this. Yeah, let's start with why. Why do we do A/B testing? Do you do it at all?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Okay, why? So I think we don't have to explain what it is.
No, we do. Two people already asked me on the poster, what is A/B testing?
Okay, cool. Then we do. So it's A/B. I would, and maybe it's the introduction for why as well. I would say you never know. So you have an idea about what you can change on your landing page or in your newsletter. Or let's take something easy. The subject of your newsletter.
Yes.
The next newsletter.
Line.
That's easy. Yeah. So you have something in your mind what you can write. Newsletter #17 could be a good subject line or not. And then you read a blog post about changing the subject line.
And you come up with A/B test or die.
Yes, and you come up with something like A/B test or die.
Yeah.
And then, but you never know if it really has a better performance than the original version.
Episode number 17.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. And you're reading some growthhackers.com blog posts about how other people got rich and so on. But you have to make sure in your own setup, in your own environment, if it really performs better or not. And because you don't know, you do something like what is called A/B testing. I would say the easiest version is say, okay, 50% of my newsletter base gets original version variant number A, and the other 50% gets version number B.
Yeah. And then you see later, which one had the better open rate, the better click-through rate, the better conversion rate.
That's it.
Right?
That's, I would say,
what it is. Yeah.
What it is.
So why? Essentially is because we have several good, well-reasoned out hypotheses. Yeah. We think we know what we are doing, and just to make sure that our feelings also are based in fact, we can check this a little bit better with A/B testing. Yeah, so that's to me the main why. Getting into this experimentation mindset. Yeah. I know so many people who just have their static website and they didn't change it in 12 months. Yeah, and nothing happened. As soon as you get into the habit of always having an A/B test running and only changing it once per month, you always keep improving your funnel, your website, your email marketing, your ads. Yeah, it becomes a natural part of you, and that's why I like A/B testing, just for this experiment-driven growth mindset.
It's a continuous improvement process thing or mindset thing for a team. That's the reason why I like it too. For sure, there are a lot of mistakes you can do, right?
Yeah. Why are you not so convinced by it? Why do you think you have a different opinion than me?
Yeah, that's something with the mistakes. So I would say I would guess 90% of the of all A/B tests are not valid. Because the environmental setup is not the same for A and B. They're sending the newsletter on Monday, and then on Friday, so it's not really comparable. That could be a mistake. And I would say most of the people don't have enough traffic.
Yeah.
I'm not the statistic guy, so to say you must 100% and so, but in the end, with 50 people a day on your website, I would say you don't get anything out of it, except there is maybe 50 to 0.
Yeah, but if you had enough traffic,
how much is enough traffic? That is the question I have to answer a lot of times.
Let's just assume you have 100,000 people per month. I would say that is more than enough traffic to test. Do you then have anything against A/B testing, or would you always recommend it?
No. If you have enough traffic, if you have this mindset already, then I would say just make small improvements on your newsletter, on your website, whatever, instead of doing this kind of big relaunches to change everything and then to hope that it's better than before. So this is exactly what I would recommend. Yeah. I would say, and that's maybe because I'm from Cologne and I'm really stur. Yeah. What is the English word for stur? In Cologne,
hard-headed.
Hard-headed. Not open-minded in this case. Yeah. Where I say, okay, so I've 12 to 13 years experience in these things. And I would say there are so many things I think that I'm right if I do it like this. And I know that's not right to do this. But that's the reason why, as a startup, I just take my gut feeling first, and then I start an A/B test against my gut feeling. Yeah. But I don't want to limit myself in terms of speeding up. So I have to change a lot of things because I'm a startup. I'm always this high-speed execution guy, and so with an A/B test, you always have to wait, right? Depending on the traffic you have, and that's the reason why I take always my gut feeling first, and then I make A/B testings against my gut feeling. Yeah, that's the way I do it for my own projects.
It's a good way to go about it. I mean, this goes into the how of things. Yeah, that's not like which tools do you use, but what are the environmental variables you should keep in mind? Should you, like, when should you do this? What is a good what are good opportunities to do it and what not? Yeah? If you don't have enough traffic, for example, one way I go about that is to start one step earlier. Why wait until people are on your website when you can already A/B test the messaging and the images and the videos on the ad side? Yeah, you can say that for about 1,000 impressions, you maybe pay around $5 to $10 on the different platforms, but that's the average. So you get 100,000 people for $500. Yeah, you get even those 1,000 people are way better than the 50 that reach your website. And then if you have a 1% click-through rate, you have 10 people of those thousands on your website. And that's tough. Then you can test pretty much nothing with them. But you had 1,000 people, for $10 who actually saw different versions of your website. Yeah, and that is a good opportunity to do that.
I would agree.
Yeah, you also said like the variables that need to work. The one thing I see many people not really hold stable is the traffic channel. Yeah, let's say they do an A/B test on the website, and then they in the middle of the test they start doing display ads on AdWords or Outbrain, and you're wondering why your bounce rate goes up and your conversions go down, and you're like, oh, my A/B test was wrong. So yes, there's a good. What you said is I'm very much on board with. You have to be sure that you know which variables influence them. So maybe we can count them. We can gather some variables that we come up with. So traffic source is like the biggest one.
So what would be a solution? Just to have, if you talk about AdWords, for instance, to have a landing page only for AdWords, and then you have the same environment, and you can make sure.
Yeah, very good solution. Another one would be is to not, in your analytics, don't put the channels together. Yeah. only check the A/B test for the traffic that you specifically want. A good traffic source for website A/B testing is Google Organic. It's very stable. It doesn't change much. The people are pretty much the same, except you have big jumps in your rankings, which most people don't. That is a very safe thing to test, or have one evergreen running AdWords campaign that just produces results. And look at that. But I like the custom landing page ones. Very much.
I think it's a little bit more effort maybe, but it's easier and it's clear. It's really clear. Another variable could be something like weather, depending on the product. But in summer times and winter times, there's always a big difference in selling snowboard jackets or selling something like summer holidays.
I have a funny example for that. I always bring the EcoCut case, the wind swiper cutter, and we actually did bid adjustments based on the weather. So we divided Germany by some geographies, and then we said when it's raining in those geographies, like double the amount of ad spend in the time it's raining. That was a fun exercise. It didn't turn out to be super like there were differences, just the volume was not impressive. The difference in volume, you could just throw bigger money at more generalized audiences and it worked still better. But we are able to do this. Time of day is a big difference. I send my emails, for example, in the morning because I think I have the highest open rate if I send it in the morning. Do you have a different experience?
In terms of this GrowthArtic podcast, YouTube channel stuff, I'm sending my newsletter and with always a topic. And so maybe you can help us, because I'm always thinking, okay, what would be the best time for our listeners, for our subscribers to send it? And my idea is always that I say, okay, if I send it early in the morning, then they get the notification and then can download it or listen to it already on the way to work. So that's just my idea. Or at 5 to 6 for if they come out of work. But it's just my assumption that this is for our customer base the right thing. But we should test this.
This is a very testable hypothesis. Is that the time? You can go like A/B testing is the entrance into personalization. You don't have to do 50-50 splits. As an example that you just mentioned, the easiest way would be a 50-50% subject line. But what, for example, MailChimp offers you is to say, oh yeah, you have this newsletter of 10,000 people, take 20% of that, those are 2,000 people. They are divided into A and B, and they get 1,000 people get version A, 1,000 people get version B, and at the end of those 2,000, it waits for 8 hours. And you can define how long it's supposed to wait. And then it sends the better open rate or conversion rate based subject line to the 8,000 other people, which I think is very smart.
It is.
The next step is to categorize your users and say like, oh yeah, women or different age groups and men and different activity status, they require different ones. And this is essentially just a more fancier A/B test. Just you go from A/B test to multivariate testing to personalization essentially.
But that is exactly a point I want to tackle, because I think most of the teams, startups and corporates are so in the beginning of continuous optimization that I say, okay, don't start with these complicated things. Please start with 50% to the left, 50% to the right. Make sure that your tools, we come to this point, but that your tool set is working, that your mindset is working, that you exactly know how to do and what to do before you start testing complicated things, because I would say 95% of this A/B test end in something you can't use. That's just for myself as well. We have so many ideas. If you smash it together, in the end, for me we do it just nearby, right? So it's always like having some fun and optimization stuff because we like it. But for me, 50-50 splits and wait 7 days. It's for me the stable version.
How about, like you said, 7 days? That to me that is a pointer towards the day of the week is very, very, very important. And we usually wait for 7 days to have a weekday result and a weekend result. For example, I would like to test changing the publishing weekday week
for
GrowthArtic.
Oh, let's do it.
Do you? I think.
Let's talk about this.
Let's say at the same. Let's think about it really, and like I have a more preferred day than Friday. Should we say it at the same time? What you think and what I think?
Yes, I think
1, 2, Monday.
Monday, yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So that's the reason why. So we are publishing all this stuff on Friday, and I send my newsletter and social media stuff in purpose on Monday. So, but where would people?
And I send mine on Friday, and it's like, we should be sending it out pretty much at the same time to give the podcast the maximum amount of initial traction. Of an initial push. We should even go as far as scheduling the emails, pre-scheduling the publishing of the podcast, and blah blah blah. If that works, after a while. So
we had the marketing channels. We had time.
Weather shit.
We had day of week. We had weather.
We had mobile versus desktop.
That's a good one.
Jesus, guys, you cannot compare your A/B testing results with a mobile and desktop. It's just, I always see such large differences. And even iOS, Android, I always look at, because there might be something in your form field that fucked up on one of those devices.
Country language.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, you're doing only English stuff. So, but just to find a way how to test German speakers or German only speakers, how they behave on your website, and find through your English stuff, or having English native speakers could be a good thing.
I look at new versus returning or even registered users. Also part of the traffic channel thing. Anything else? I'm sure we would find some other variables.
But I think again that makes it so clear. There are so many possibilities. But there are so many point of failures. To forget something and then to make the interpretation of your result make it wrong. To say, okay, I think it's not worth it, like something like this. So
maybe as the last point of the how is, you just mentioned it as if it was something bad, and I actually like it. I like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Lots of people think that I'm a super scientific guy, but I actually prefer throwing out 6 variables. I change at the same time because I can move much faster.
That's what I meant.
And then subtract what was likely not. Like I see what sticks on the wall, and then I see let's subtract those variables and see if it's still performing. It's so much faster than waiting for your one perfect experiment, doing the next perfect experiment. It's not true. No, practicality. But not doing the A/B test has become so easy today. That's like not doing it is just a waste of learning opportunities. Which might lead us to how with what tools, how do we do exactly the A/B testing? We would call that the what. If you haven't noticed yet, we go with the Simon Sinek golden circle: why, how, and what today. Let us know if you like this, and if we should keep doing that. So, what do you use for A/B testing if you are A/B testing?
Between how and what is for me. One thing I want to mention, please don't start testing your button colors, the colors of your call to action buttons. That's always something, because there are so many blog posts around. We changed the button color from orange to green,
and we made 2 millions.
And now we are millionaires. And that's, I would say that's the stupidest thing what comes in your mind to test. And I try to coach to my teams always, if we have no ideas anymore, for testing subject lines, for testing the value proposition on your newsletter, on your landing page, on your homepage, whatever. Or, for instance, the text on the button, in my case, has much more impact on the conversion than just the color. Yeah. So there's something in between what to test, and then we come to the tools thing. So what do you use?
I love that point. What to test? To me, I always try to show people that the smaller the change they want to do, the bigger the audience need to actually get a significant difference between them. Yeah, and bolder, bigger changes are much more likely end up in a more positive result. Yeah, but not every change that you think improves the thing actually creates a better result. You can be happy if you are like 60-70% right of the time, then you're already good off. Yeah, and
60-70. So you say 6 from 10 tests
are successful. No, if you were there, if you would just do a random A/B test, it's just 50-50%.
Maybe 2 of 10.
Yeah, then you have already tested a lot. Yeah, you have found like a saturation point where, or you're not testing bold enough.
Yeah, that's the reason why I want to talk about this. So for me, I would guess. So I have no clear analytics about this, but I would guess there are maybe 2 of 10 A/B tests I do for my own projects are successful. Only 2. And another way around, it is 20% of optimization. That's awesome. Really great.
Yeah, depending on what the actual
I would be satisfied with 1.
Maybe. Bringing that back to the what, like this, as you said, the simplest way to A/B test also the traffic channels is to put them to a new landing page. And there are landing page tools out there that help you to gather one. My favorite one is Instapage. Do you have a favorite one?
For just A/B testing?
Just
or where is
landing
it
pages.
Integrated? Where the A/B testing machine is integrated?
Yeah. Or? The landing page tools.
I use WordPress still.
Yeah, WordPress is a good free one. Yeah. Unbounce is a popular one. There are lots of tools that now provide you with A/B testing and give you the results. And for example, one way I use Instapage that leads me to bold changes. You can not only just create variations of the current website, you can start with a new layout. Yeah, layout changes for me are pretty much the biggest changes I can make. It either gets much worse or much better. Like when I really change layouts, change orders, then just taking the same result and just changing the text. Yeah.
Text. For me, it's always text.
So let's talk about what to change. We said layout. What next?
Not button colors, but text everywhere.
Yes.
Your value proposition, your subliner, your product. Let's say like the product benefits. Yeah. What I am testing a lot for my own projects and for other projects is, so we have always on the left of our website your logo. Yeah. So we can't do anything with the logo, but find a small subtitle over there to give the people who are coming, they have never heard before of you. To give them something that they know they are right. In my case, it's something like learn growth hacking. That means, okay, you're right if you have something to do with growth hacking, and then comes the rest. That's good. Something.
Yeah. Then, as you said, call to action text.
That's one of my favorites.
Images, background images and images on your website are.
I have a good one for loading time on the website.
Oh, that's a nice factor. You can be fucked by your IT infrastructure, that's true.
Loading time by your website.
Another one is form fields. Usually we are into lead capturing. Change the amount of information you want to have.
And it's the amount and it's what as well. If you ask for, it's a joke out of my boot camps, is always like, underwear size.
Underwear size.
So don't ask only the things you really need for the next step in your funnel, but not too much, and ask the right things, and not for salary and something like this, not for too private information, because people don't like it.
I have a cool example for that. The guys from Home Day, who used to be sitting over there, they are finding the best agent to sell your house. Yeah, and they had an Unbounce funnel completely, and the whole marketing team, everybody needed to go through the Unbounce funnel. Yeah, and they shared it at the at the Pirate Skills meetup.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and whenever they found a better solution that was stable, the WordPress developers then changed it on the WordPress side, which was a beautiful way to do it actually. And all the paid traffic went through Unbounce, essentially. And what they found out, what was an interesting form field test was, should you capture the phone number or not? Yeah, the step after the subject line suffered greatly when they captured the phone number. But the final conversions went way up. So you had a drip in conversions through the next step, but the most important step went up in percentages. So I try, when I do an A/B test, to look at a couple of goals behind that. Of course, it's the next step that is most interesting, but you can make it so easy for yourself. Free offer versus paid offer. Yeah, it's like, that's stupid.
That's a great example for showing how complicated it could be, because I would say now the hypothesis to say, okay, don't ask for the phone number in the first step to keep this good conversion for the first step, and then integrate a second step after you getting the first lead with maybe first name, last name, and email address, or only email address, to get it in the second step. So that's something you will never end testing, but that was something I would have to test if I would be in the Home Day team.
And this is like one of the things where expertise actually helps, because the decision what to actually test and what is in this test, the content of the test, that is the only variable that decides if this test is more is successful or not. It's not the testing infrastructure, it's what the fuck you are testing. Yeah. And sorry for making this episode explicit again on the iTunes stores. So we talked about landing page tools. Yeah. In the workshop and in the meetup, we're gonna focus on Google Optimize. Have you tried that one? It's like a free clone.
I'm working with this.
A free clone of Optimizely. I used to be one of the biggest fans of Optimizely. They suddenly decided, I don't know if it's currently the case, but I was with an account rep and they said, no, we don't want to have any accounts under $800 per month. That is a business decision they can make. Yeah, but it makes it not recommendable for me anymore, except for really big clients. Yeah. So Google Optimize is like a decent clone of that. Another one I used to be using a lot before Google Optimize is VWO, Visual Website Optimizer. They all do the same. You install some JavaScript on your website like Google Analytics, and with Optimize, Analytics is a requirement as well. And it just puts like a layover over your page, and then you can just type into your title tag or on the image and just change it. Yeah, and save it as a different version.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's so easy that
our mouse could use it. Almost.
Maybe. It's so easy that when I started with Google Optimize, that I forget it about 2 weeks. That this test is running, because you just do it, it's just 3 minutes and then it's running. And then I forgot, then I got a feedback that on my landing page is something happening, and for sure I did some changes without testing it, sorry for this. And then the internet exploded in this case, and so just on my page. But that's something, maybe what I want to mention as well is, if you test something, stick to this and focus on testing and not testing and changing everything else on the other. If you focus on the test. Because it's important. It's always important to focus, blah, blah. But I think maybe if you're building up a team or something, there should be one person responsible for doing the tests and always doing the flag stuff to say, hey, stop, we're running a test here. Don't. So that's something I learned in my former job. If you're working with 50 people in one big team, so separated in teams, that there's team A, maybe that's a factor for the variable thing as well, not the weather, not the day, it's your colleagues, your co-workers are doing some stuff, is what has impact on your A/B test. You don't know. A
new update of your app version just came along.
So Google Optimize, I love it because it's so easy, and for me it's always a recommendation. If you want to start with Google Optimize, because I would say 95% of all people or businesses are using Google Analytics. And so from Google Analytics, just going one step ahead.
And even the corporates, they get Google Optimize. They get Google Optimize going. Another interesting thing you can do once you help somebody who is less technical to set up Google Optimize, they can actually change their website without coding. And when it takes a lot of time to change code on the main site, I just set the test on Google Optimize to 99% to that winner variation, and now 99%. It's live. It's essentially live until the final. Like sometimes it takes like 4 to 6 weeks. For the dev team to make this change on the website.
My longest is 7 months. It's my worst customer.
Don't mention him.
No.
So
7 months. I can repeat it, 7 months for a change on their website.
It's unbelievable. Should you do that? No, because A/B testing makes your site a bit slower. That is the way.
But I would say it's a growth hack for corporate teams. Because they come out of your meetup or your workshop or out of my bootcamp and want to change everything, and then they say, okay, we are not able to. With a Google Optimize thing, you just integrate Google Optimize, and then you can change your website instantly.
Another thing,
not forever, just being fast.
Another thing I like to test, and what I don't think about directly with A/B testing, is I use Google Tag Manager for a lot of that stuff. And for example, I set up a split test. Who sees a chat widget? You don't know if a chat widget works in your website, and you can easily say like, okay, only 50% of people should get this JavaScript that starts the intercom chat in my case, for example, to see, is engagement better or worse for the pop-up, just the disturbing stuff.
So what is the goal of the test? So what to test?
The goal, for example, if I have a chat and I actually have an active pop-up I see if the engagement rate increases, if the time on site on the page increases because of the chat, or how many, like for example, my pop-up is usually, do you want to come to the next event? That I do through the chat. And every chat widget is a disturbance in the user flow. It's like a pop-up is also a disturbance in the user flow, and you want to see like, is it worth bugging people? We already have to bug people with the GDPR shit, and now we're bugging them with chat, we're bugging them with further pop-ups. We know they work, but we at least want to be sure how well they are working. Okay, any other what's?
You said Optimizely, that was the tool we used at Trusted Shops in former times. I heard about A/B Tasty. I think they are from Cologne, right?
Yes.
I have no idea how it works.
A/B Tasty, if you hear this, sponsor next meetup. We need pizza. We really need pizza.
And Gaffelkölsch.
And Google, if you hear this and you want to send one over for the workshop in October, it's like in the 2nd, 3rd Wednesday in October, we do this workshop all about Google Optimize. Let me know if you want to bring somebody, Google.
Then what you mentioned already is testing not only on your pages or in your newsletter, testing in the ad channels already. A/B testing with your Facebook ads, it's integrated over there and so on. That's a tool. Yeah, it's a tool for A/B testing for sure.
Absolutely.
What else? That's it?
That's about it. I would say if you can come up with more stuff we should discuss, let us know. Share your favorite tools for landing pages or for A/B testing. We did not talk about deeply about A/B testing in email marketing tools or that kind of stuff later in the funnel. But I think that's what the main people focus on.
Yeah. If you have good cases or good examples or really growth hacking,
we would love to see those results.
Just share with us. If you have a rate like we have, you said 10 of 10, 2 of 10 are successful.
Yeah.
No, you said 6 of 10 are successful.
Yeah.
I would say 2 of 10 are successful. That would be really great to hear what your examples are, what your results are. That's it.
That's very much it. So join us at growthartic.com/19, which will go directly to the
Is 19 a
session
prime
page.
number?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
It's a beautiful prime number.
19.
And there you can find the links to all of the GrowthArtic channels, the YouTube, the Spotify, the iTunes,
Stitcher,
SoundCloud.
Clown Sound.
I like the Clown Sound one best by now. And you can follow us there. We'd really appreciate your reviews. Yeah, so hope to hear you there. We answer every review. Bye-bye.